Glasgow, correct? Okay. Matty Glasgow is here. We're releasing his debut collection of poems. We're celebrating that release. We've also got some other great readers for you today. And so I'm going to go ahead and start us off. I'd like to welcome Laura Villareal. She earned her MFA from Rutgers University-Newark. Her first chapbook, The Cartography of Sleep, came out in 2018 with Nostrovia Press. Her writing can be found in Black Warrior Review, Vinyl, Waxwing, and elsewhere. Welcome, Laura.
Happy to be here. I'm happy to celebrate Matty's book, which I've been excited about for a minute. I'm going to read a few poems from my chapbook, and then I'm going to read some newer stuff. Slash and burn. A stranger's hot house grows my heart. At 3 a.m., I'm leaving, unhurried, like first kindling nestled into a field's edge. The devil's hour spills ash, muddied and familiar. Even the guard dogs continue sleeping as the latch clicks into the strike plate. As I run a stick across the fence line, so it sounds like footfalls of someone chasing after me. Not even a block away, I make Persephone's mistake. I knew I would after she asked me to stay and cultivate my gods. But something still runs wild in me. A stranger's hothouse has harvested my heart. Climbing into bed next to her, I continue insisting I didn't scorch the earth to make room for her, and an ember blossoms as simply a morning lily. Mythology. My birth was blank star chart, midday, and minor miracle. I grew in a cardboard kingdom, built my quiet, harvesting words for a fallow season, savored them like sea glass. Left in my pocket, I'd need them for later. In my teen years, I battled someone else's monsters. My own monster was patient. Caught in my throat, silence like a wishbone, I broke off the bigger end, born perpetually lucky, or so the story goes. The monsters left teeth burrowed in my body. Those hidden treasures took root in my blood, and luck followed me into the dark, picked my bones into tuning forks, but that was all. I sold my own heart with a sign that said haunted, free, or best offer. It's true, I was born lucky. Found my heart floating downriver, caught in tendrils of wild rice. I traded my gently used words to a cave salamander who told me I couldn't keep mapping stories if they weren't my own. They flicked my tuning fork bones and told me other people needed to sing my pitch. Now some newer stuff. Let's see. A season of caterpillars. Begins with one growing fat on my cilantro, his pea-pod body lethargic as the clouds that spring, which never seemed to stop carrying burdens of rain. It was the spring you were in the woods far away. You had wild turkeys and raptor hawks. I had stillborn blooms on my tomatillos. Skull-headed snapdragons humming for a visitation. Not even the yellow-bellied finch would perch long enough to see caterpillars in their dewdrop eggs harmonizing under the leaf's watch. The first birth is the hardest. The second I looked away, holes in my pepper plant. What else has been taken from me when I wasn't looking? Life is filled with innocuous dangers, but girlhood should come with a survival manual. It was the spring a man broke into women's apartments once a week with a handgun in glaring daylight. You can fill in the rest. We all know this story. It isn't mine to tell, but the world continues, and I can't imagine how everything flourishes as if orchestrated. I want everything to stop growing gorgeous, at least for a moment. We all know the caterpillar is a thief that will benefit from my nurturing, but that's the story of men, isn't it? The second birth takes time, and happens most often after a merciless spring. Living alone means I check all the locks twice, carry a butterfly knife hidden in my pocket, weapons of opportunity ready. I feel safer when you're home. I sleep more soundly. I have trouble admitting that men often fear only other men. I'm still afraid, and I'm the kind of bitch who carries around a goddamn knife. So the hall light stays on, in case someone arrives and it isn't you. I won't be as kind as I was to the caterpillar. It isn't a season for mercy. Boiling puffins. Or were they penguins? 3 3 million boiled into lamp oil and their beaks sold as children's masks during summer festivals. Listen, I don't know if that last part is true. My mind adds extra details to every story. Like when my dad buys kitchen knives at garage sales, it feels ominous. He says no one can ever have enough good knives. I'm sure people use kitchen knives all the time. Serrated blades are a hot seller, am I right? But the year we got a dog, my dad's coworker stabbed his wife until she played dead, and the cops never found that knife. So I worry about the history of everyday objects. I shop at Target since vintage and antique are ways of saying pre-haunted. I get the heebie-jeebies easy. I have goosebumps thinking about the smell of antique promise rings. Listen, I shouldn't be hypocritical. I've told all my lovers that my body is full of ghosts, but who hasn't, right? I've told them to please not touch the scar on my thigh. It's from a hunting knife. I've told them antique shop rules apply. You break, you buy. When I'm driving, I wonder about cars and dogs left on the roadside, especially those near rivers and lakes. Would I ever leave mine behind like that? I read once that over 500,000 people disappear every year in the US, and there's not enough milk cartons for all of their faces because of millennials who've ruined the milk and cereal industry. I've heard the mind forgets trauma if it loves its owner enough. But listen, that one probably isn't true. I read it on a message board in 2006. When I can't sleep, I read WikiHows about erasing myself from the internet. It's easier than you would think. To leave and never be found. It's easier to start new as someone else sometimes. If someday my car is found abandoned by the river, my cell phone vibrating in the knife drawer, would you listen for me late at night putting my key in the door? Would you believe me if I told you I left something important at home and came back, put my head on your chest, and just listened? This is going to be my last one. Spring. Somewhere there's a small fleet of Wienermobiles waiting in a desert with a gaggle of Santas revving their engines, impatiently honking their Oscar Mayer horns until a fast food icon, this year the Hamburglar, blows the weenie whistle announcing the first day of spring. Soon the Santas will race cross country to the farmer's market, where your parents sell your milk teeth to pay for eggs they'll crack open and cram melting candy inside. For you to find every year of your life until you run out of teeth or stop believing in magic, whichever comes first. But I'm sure you're wondering what Santa does with your teeth. What does anyone do with children's teeth? Little forgettable bone shards that, if not sold, are probably hidden in a mason jar that your mother keeps in her underwear drawer. Your mother treasures snippets of your first haircut. Your father saves a photo showing the first haircut he's ever given. The spindle peak mohawk above your chubby toddler face. We are all as afraid of memory being thrown away as our parents. But not all myths get manufactured. The world is still full of wonder. In the Netherlands, there's a floating dairy farm. The cows chew clover on an 89 by 89 foot field. Don't worry, cows don't experience seasickness, or that's what the article says. They say the future is floating, hurricane-proof platforms growing our crops. Scientists say we're too late to save the planet from death, but how glorious our commitment to preserving wonder and memory, how human to collect the ephemeral without reason.